you read the Gospels, you will notice that Jesus spends a lot of time praying and then going out to the crowds. He would retreat and then advance. He would rest and then work, and pray and go on mission. And we want to encourage that rhythm within the life of St. Michael's. And we're excited about a new vision for the upstairs of Rose Cottage. This is Rose Cottage, the home of our cafe and church office. It's an amazing space, and we open it to the public on Tuesdays and Wednesdays downstairs. So we have this dream of turning upstairs of Rose Cottage back into a living space for a small group of people who will commit their lives to praying together, living in community and doing mission here in Twerton. And this is not something new. Rose Cottage has been used in the past for people to live here. In fact, that was what it was originally designed for people who were called to be missionaries here in Twerton. And so we feel like there's something in the history that is defining the destiny here. And, of course, missional communities, people living together and committing to praying together and being on mission is nothing new either. Throughout church history, there have been people that have chosen that way of life. And we call them monastic communities. Monks and nuns are the best examples of that. But you might have heard of Lee Abbey. Lee Abbey is a community of people who choose to live together down in Devon. But they also have these small missional communities in parts of the country, in cities around the country. The nearest to here is Bristol in Knoll West, and they've been inspiring us by what the model looks like, and so we are exploring conversations with Lee Abbey. We are trusting that God will provide the right people, that he's calling people to come to Twerton, and we're praying that God is speaking to people right now. But would you join with me in praying for that? Please pray that God would provide the funding for us to return this space back to residential accommodation, and that we would have contractors who are people of peace, people who will look at this space and catch the vision for it and help us to make it a safe and pleasant and enjoyable place to live. Now, we all know that the church is not the building, the church is the people. And yet there's something about the building, there's something about place that means something. And so it's not very good, like this swing ball set, it's not very good when it's cracked, when the outer shell of the base is cracked. And that's a little bit like what's happened with our church building. It's got some cracks. If you've been inside, you'll see it, especially on a rainy day. You'll see the streaks of water coming down the walls. And we need to take good care and be good stewards of this building that God has given us to use and has been used for hundreds of years to worship God and gather people together to do mission together. So here we are inside the church building. And you may remember a number of years ago a project called the 5812 project being launched that had amazing, inspiring designs for the church building, for redeveloping this site and removing the pews. Well, that was the first step. The pews are gone, but we do need to complete that little bit of the process. We also need to attend to the church roof, as I've said. And so we feel that the right thing for now is not to go ahead with the full scale project that had been put together a couple of years ago, but to recognise that we do need to do some work on the building, but we sense that Isaiah 58 chapter 12, which inspired that project, can still be lived out. That vision of your people rebuilding the ancient ruins and raising up the age-old foundations. We sense that God is doing that through his people, through initiatives like the Missional Community home that's going to be established in the heart of Twerton in Rose Cottage, through missional communities scattered outside of buildings, reaching different people, and finally through the outreach projects that we're running through the Lighthouse Ministry, at the cafe, in the school, through the food bank at the Lighthouse Centre, and many other things that are happening there. So we just want to just update you really that that's where we're at. We are exploring some greener energy solutions for this building, and we're getting advice from the diocese, and so there may be times over the next year where things come up that we need to tell you about. So just watch this space and continue praying with us. You might remember at the carol services we advertised that we're going to be running an Alpha course this term, and we are excited to say that the Agape Missional Community has agreed to take on running the course. They're going to be starting on January the 23rd. That's the fourth Sunday in January in the afternoon, and we would love you to pray about who you might invite along. Do be praying for that team, for the Agape Missional Community as they seek to try to introduce people to Jesus. That's who we believe changes lives, and so do be praying for that. My lonely heart is beat. And for the rest of us who aren't going to be involved in the Alpha course directly, I want to invite you to come and join us on Tuesday evenings, the second and the fourth Tuesday evenings of the month at 8 o'clock in the evening at the Lighthouse Centre. We're going to be journeying together as we put into practice what we're learning in our celebration services on Sunday about speaking gospel, about growing in the language and confidence in the values and the culture of the kingdom of God. And you know, we don't just become fluent by hearing a talk. We have to put it into practice. And so we'd love to encourage you to come on those second and fourth Tuesday evenings of the month at the Lighthouse Centre at 8 p.m. to come and build and deepen relationships and trust with one another, that we might be able to earn the right to speak the comfort and challenge of the gospel into each other's lives and become more like Jesus. Have you ever come up to the front of St Michael's Church and noticed these very special, fancy chairs? We don't sit in them much anymore, but they would have been sat in by the clergy, by the vicars of the time. And whilst I don't sit in them anymore, we're not getting rid of them because they tell us something about our history. But I think gone are the days where the vicar did everything, where the vicar was seen as the one who did the ministry on behalf of the people. We are in a season where we've got all sorts of new ministries and new missional opportunities happening, and I hope that you've been inspired by what you've heard today. But we do need to expand our leadership team, and so we've established a supportive leadership team to work in partnership with the PCC. This leadership team is made up of PCC members, staff members, and others who are involved in leadership roles within the church, to both spend time in prayer, but also to seek the Lord for his direction and to assist Catherine and I as we lead into this big vision, because we have a big God, but he is wanting to raise up a people who would be obedient to his call. So do pray. There's lots to pray for, and we are wishing you a happy new year still, and praying that you would come on this amazing adventure this year with us as we journey into some of these new opportunities. God bless you.